Okay, I beat Dead Island 2. Sorry it took so long. This is a little bit like slow. Usually I can get a game done pretty quickly when I want to play a video game. I get the video out straight away. But I also believe that everything regarding Dead Island 2 has pretty much been said at this point. What exactly I can add to that, I'm not really sure, but I can just give my perspective on it. So leading up to Dead Island 2, I wasn't too interested, to be honest, because I wasn't big on Dead Island 1 and Riptide. I thought they were perfectly okay. Didn't understand why a lot of people loved those games. Dying Light came along, was way better. It's still way better. And then Dying Light 2 came out. I love Dying Light 2, and loads of people hated that game. So obviously Dead Island 2, the first trailer showed off some of these new gore mechanics and stuff, and I was just like, yeah, alright, I'll play that. And honestly, that has been the backbone of this game. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh my lord, this is the best video game I've ever played. This is going to be Game of the Year. This is better than Resident Evil 4 Remake. This is better than the Dead Space Remake. None of that's going to come out of my mouth, because none of that's true. Now, this game is not going to win awards unless the award is the best gore in a video game, because it's pretty standard across the board. And I'm not here to shit on the dev and be like, oh my god, the dev just kind of brought a mediocre experience out, because it's not really mediocre. It's extremely fun from start to finish. I had a good time with it, and the slowness of me reviewing it isn't a fact of the game's quality. It's a fact of I just was busy. I had some stuff to take care of, so I couldn't really game the way I usually would. So obviously I just had to do that and then play when I could. And I did. It did take a few hours. I'd love to tell you exactly how many hours, but I honestly have no clue, because I was never looking at the clock. I was just kind of playing through. I did not do majority of the things in this game. I'm sat at 35% of the achievements, which should give you an idea. I've played no online components. I pretty much did, I think I did 5 side quests, and then the rest of it was just hammering the main storyline, which is mediocre at best. If you're looking for an incredible storyline to go with your zombie game, you are not getting it with Dead Island 2. Will you get cool characters? Kind of. Honestly, the characters are likable. They say some funny things now and again. Definitely didn't hate any characters, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they were the best characters I've ever seen in a video game either. They were just kind of middle of the road. That's decent. Where the fun comes from is the gameplay. Sure, it's not doing anything you haven't seen before. You've done this in Dying Light, you've done this in the original Dead Island. What you haven't done in those games is just experience the gore system. Now, the gore system leaves a little bit to be desired when it comes to weapons, because your shotguns and everything just act like a blunt weapon when you're hitting the zombies. But when you're using a blunt weapon or you're using a bladed weapon, it'll damage the flesh on the zombies in different ways. The zombie detail, the way they look, is awesome. The graphics are honestly really nice. Sometimes you're looking at it, it's like, damn, that's photorealistic. I don't know how they're doing it, but it's impressive. And this might be the first time I've ever experienced this. I couldn't tell you. I don't know any other game that does this. Some guy in the comments is probably going to be like, well, actually, Glenn, on this game in 2007 it did. Yeah, I don't know. But what I do know is the first time I've experienced this is acid attacks in games. Usually when you do an acid attack in a game, it just kind of puts some green mist on them to signify they've got acid on them, and they start melting and they die, and it's just kind of eh. Even Resident Evil 2 Remake, when you shot them with the acid rounds from the grenade launcher, it really didn't do what this game does. It does melt the flesh in that, but it's it doesn't look like this. When you hit them on this, it's just it melts all the way down the bone. The first turn red, and then you start seeing bones seeping through, and then it's just there's nothing left of them, and it's just kind of holy shit. I'm not even sure if the devs needed to go that far, but personally, I love the attention to detail. They need to give themselves a pat on the back, because that is really impressive, and some games are going to be fighting to outdo this now, as far as I'm concerned. Sure, the gameplay is samey. You've done it, like I said, you've done it a million times. The storyline's a bit meh. The characters are alright. soundtrack, honestly, it's just unmemorable. There's nothing really there. But like I said, the gameplay is fun. Sure, you've done it before, but it was done before and it was fun. It's not like it's different. When you do heavy attacks on the zombies, they react in good ways. There's good animations when you get like the critical hits on them, the way they bounce off a wall. I had one bit of footage, I wish I could add it into this, but I hit a zombie and he kind of like, well, it was a female zombie, hit the zombie and she kind of like bashed into the wall and kind of like bounced off the wall and like wobbled a little bit. I was like, well, that's just nice detail like that with the physics. It does feel like this developer's been told, make Dead Island a game, but make it in 2023. And that's what they've done, but they've kind of updated it here and there, but they needed to lean into some different mechanics, man. I feel like when because you're messing with acid all the time, there's fire, water, which you can electrify, and then you can pick up jerry cans that are filled with water or fuel, and you can kind of like mess with it where that's concerned. I really feel like they should have leaned into those kind of physics mechanics in the game. Like if you were messing with the elements a bit more instead of just like whacking zombies left and right. There's no difficulty setting, so whatever you play it as is how everyone else plays it as. I was like level 22, 23 by the time I finished the game. Didn't even get the achievement for level 30. I will go back to it. It's just there's other things I got to do at the minute, and obviously I'm playing other games as well. But yeah, I will go back to it and chase some of those achievements. The game's just fun all round. All those like 7 out of 10 reviews that you saw for this game, that might put some people off because you're like, I don't know about paying full price for that. It really comes down to whether you care about zombie games, to be honest. Did I regret paying full price for it? Absolutely not. I thought it was worth every penny. I had a lot of fun with it, and I'll go back and I'll play even more. So it was worth it to me. But maybe this type of game to you is kind of like, it's just a time killer, a bit of waste time. In that case, then wait for a sale. It's definitely a play. If you're considering playing in any way, shape or form, it's definitely a play. Like I said, weak story, decent characters, fine gameplay, awesome goal mechanics. Honestly, it's just fun. It's fun from start to finish. I had no areas where I was like, God, why do I have to do this? There was no like bit in the game where I was like, you switch character and you've got like the worst controls ever. There's nothing like that in this game. So you don't have to worry about that either. How you play from the start is how you play at the end. You just have better moves because you unlock new moves. And that's pretty much it for Dead Island. I do wish that it was a bit more RPG, if that is even a word, but you know what I mean. It's like all the RPG elements that were in the original Dead Island, that were in like Dying Light 2, they're all been stripped. There's barely anything there. It's so linear. You've got these like zones, not really open world. It's like open zone. It is. You load between the areas, and I know a lot of people have been kicking off about that and been like, there's loading screens between each of the maps. Who cares? The load screens are like 2 seconds. Like, really, do you genuinely care? We just want to nitpick something. Sure, would I like to have been seamless? Yeah, but am I going to knock points off the score because it has loading screens between these map areas? I really don't care. It's not a big deal. Yeah, that's pretty much it for Dead Island 2. It's been fun. I've enjoyed it. It's not going to win any awards. It's up to you whether you like these kind of games, whether you'd want to play it. If you liked Dead Island 1 and Riptide, or even like Dying Light 1, you know what I mean? It's along those lines, so it's kind of like, you won't get the Dying Light parkour or anything like that, but the gore, the animations, the blood, like you pour water on the blood as well and the blood like disappears. I like little things like that. It's like, it's not 100%, it doesn't 100% make sense, because it's like if you poured water on blood it would just mix, but like, I see what they were going for. It's like those things where they should have messed with it a bit more. But honestly, I'm up for a Dead Island 3. Damn Busters, he did good with this. Especially where it's been an absolute like disaster. It has. Like, how many years has it been since we got a Dead Island game and we finally got another one? You get my point. Yeah, that's all I got for Dead Island. Let me know if you're going to get it. Let me know if you did get it in the comments. Tell me what you think of the game, or whether you think the game's just not worth the money. I'm all up for hearing different opinions on this shit. Anyway, people, that's all I got. I'll catch you later.